Modern Hollywood reaches new lows with every remake. We know that by now.
It is known.
It is known.
Where has all the creativity in modern entertainment gone? Where are the days where you could watch a movie and be excited about the story, relate to the characters, because maybe they weren't exactly like you, but at their core they were still human? Where are the days where you could see a trailer and not immediately roll your eyes because it's so clear that a certain message or agenda is being pushed? Are we, the people, the audience, the consumers, really the problem because we suddenly decided that we hate everything that Hollywood and modern media pushes onto us?
How has everything become so toxic? Oh, it seems like half of the people who call themselves Star Trek fans hate Star Trek, and the Tolkien fans hate Rings of Power.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lana. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below after you're finished watching the video. There has been a distinct lack of creativity in modern entertainment. Perhaps not the reason, but certainly the result of this lack of creativity is the abundance of remakes. All we've been getting from Disney lately in the last couple of years is remake after remake after remake. Either that or forceful revivals of various popular franchises. I'm not against remakes per se, though I think you'd probably go into it knowing that a remake most likely won't be on the same level as the original. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, that remake of that original, oh yeah, the remake is 10 times better. I love the remake so much more. Let me know if you guys prefer any remake to the original, because I think that's very, very rare. And okay, fair. Maybe the point of the remake is not to compete with the original movie. But then, what is the reason for a remake? What could be a reason for a remake? Could it in fact be even more ambitious? Not just trying to be on par with the original, but trying to be better than the original? I think many modern filmmakers sure like to think so. The changes done in contemporary remakes are usually such that reflect the modern society and our present-day values, even though these values are usually forced in a very manufactured way, as if ticking off boxes off a list, rather than being any organic changes. Of course, how can they even be organic, since most remakes today clearly depict the filmmaker's desire to include identity politics and woke ideologies in their creations. With original movies and shows, you can claim that they depict our modern world and that they were conceptualized like this from the beginning. But of course, when it comes to remakes, every change is very much a conscious decision. There is a reason behind every change done to the original, therefore it can never really feel truly natural. So wouldn't it make more sense to let the movies of the past be the movies of the past and proceed to make new films where certain decisions can still feel forced, but at least here you can't say that you tried to retroactively make corrections in order to pander to modern audiences? Which brings us back to the reason for remakes that will surprise no one. Rarely there is a bigger incentive for a remake than money. I mean, do we really need a live-action Moana remake less than 10 years after the animated movie came out? What could possibly be the reason for that decision, I wonder? Now, people behind these films are not ignorant. They know that even bad publicity is still publicity. They'd rather go in with tried and true, something that already has a fan base, something that people already know, rather than taking a risk with an original creation, or so it seems. But maybe that's exactly the problem. There are a bunch of activists pushing their ideas in this film industry now. There are people who have come up with the idea to milk old stories for profit without putting in any real work. So where are the creative minds in all of this? Where are the visionaries, the writers, the artists, people with creative new ideas, the talented people? Movies used to be art. Entertainment used to be art. But it doesn't feel like this anymore. More and more, it seems like art, or the arts even, are becoming enslaved by various agendas and politics. Pushing a message comes first, and the actual creativity has to take a backseat. Or sometimes it gets kicked out of the car entirely. This isn't necessarily a new phenomenon. Like society, culture, art, it's all interconnected. But I don't think we've ever had this intense infiltration of identity politics into art as we are seeing it today. Art was supposed to be freedom of expression, but how can you have freedom of expression when you must first and foremost tick all the boxes? Strong female character, adequate racial or ethnical diversity, probably add an evil white man into the mix, and an obligatory race or gender swap / diversification of characters. How can you create something original when all these quotas are looming over you? When you run out of time to focus on the plot, on the story, because you must first make sure that your cast is diverse enough, that you don't have too many men, or especially too many white men in your cast, and that your female lead is a strong woman who needs no man. It's no wonder that the entertainment industry is being saturated with remakes, if the peak of creativity today is changing a character's skin color and calling it a day, or making King Triton's daughters so diverse that the only logical conclusion that the audience can come to is that he probably slept with a mermaid of every race under the sun. Or under the sea, if you will. And while lazy writing and superficial changes are annoying, worse is the fact that a lot of these changes don't even make logical sense within their own fictional universe. Like King Triton's daughters, for example. Superficial changes in a lot of modern remakes are much more insulting because they don't serve the story. Their sole purpose is to pander to modern audiences and say, look how progressive we are. Now this character is voiced by a woman, because that brings so much to the story. For example, in the new Little Mermaid, they even had to make it so that Prince Eric is now adopted, and that his adoptive mother is a woman of color. And of course, the father is no longer around because that would be one man too many. And while we're on the topic of the Little Mermaid, I will say that changing the setting to the Caribbean, or like a Caribbean island for Eric's kingdom, seems like a good change since they wanted to add people of color, and that kind of setting provides a logical reason for a diverse cast, okay. But when we take another step back and ask ourselves, why did they feel the need to change that in the first place? And then we come to another superficial change that wasn't done to honor the original story, but instead to push a modern ideology that apparently everyone has to be diverse now. Everywhere, in every movie, in every circumstance. As a European, sometimes I wonder how Americans perceive, and if there are any Americans watching this, do let me know, like, how do you perceive us? Because I'm pretty sure we perceive ourselves as very diverse, even though we're all white, generally speaking, but there's still such ethnical diversity, and you would never say to a Slovenian that they are the same as a Croat, or that a Croat is the same as Serb. You wouldn't dare do that, even though we're all white. But Americans apparently seem to perceive diversity only on the visual level, that if you are white passing, you are white. If you look anything else, you are a person of color, then you are the other. So again, the problem, lumping people of color together as if they are the other, separate from white. How is this any better than what was done in the past? Okay. Rant over. And yeah, when you look deeper into this, it just comes across as pretty insulting to both parties. It's like saying, give people of color their representation, but let's do so by replacing canonically white characters, usually people from European history or folklore. Doesn't this feel like a hand-me-down? It's like, let me stuff you into this dress that's 3 sizes too small and not your color and not your cut, but you don't get an original one, we'll make you fit into this one. It's such a disservice to everyone. It's as if they don't believe that a non-white character in an original story could be successful or be well liked. Which of course makes no sense, because we have seen thousands of movies and shows that prove that of course they can be successful, of course they can be liked. To imagine that they couldn't be is ridiculous. So what is the problem then? Are they scared of being original because they don't trust their writing abilities, their screenwriting abilities? Or is it that the only way to make progress now is to first alter everything that came before that is no longer considered politically correct? And if we are made to believe that these kinds of movies, these kinds of remakes are progressive, that this is what progress looks like, or is supposed to look like, then what are we actually calling progress today? That's my 2 cents on this whole thing, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you will let me know. And yeah, I'll see you soon in another video.